I always use the mantra, money flows to me frequently in abundance from expected and unexpected ways. And I say that mantra over and over every day. I say it basically after the Calm app, and I say it in the shower.
This is Stay Paid, the marketing podcast that gives listeners a competitive edge to stay motivated, find inspiration, and discover proven real-world tactics from some of the best marketers across the nation.
Welcome to another episode of Stay Paid. I'm Joshua Stike along with Luke Acree. And before we bring in our guest today, we'd love it if you take a minute to subscribe to Stay Paid on Apple Podcast or on Spotify if you're not already subscribed. And while you're there, drop us a review. We'll read it here on the show. This week's featured review is short and sweet. This comes from DWL.
All right.
With 5 exclamation points behind their name. So thank you, DWL. They say, great podcast, 5 stars. This is a great podcast. Very entertaining and motivating. Thanks, guys. I thought that was nice. I like the... When the title of the review matches the content of the review, I think it works well. All right, our guest today is Tamara Thompson, is both the founder and CEO of a content marketing agency. Tamara is teaching businesses to tap into the secret ingredients that make content go from stale and boring to highly clickable, relatable, and profitable. Having reached many milestones in her own work, including driving 1.2 million video views and over $170,000 in sale in just 5 days, Tamara specializes in creating repurposable multimedia content and navigating new social media platforms. Tamara, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I love your take action sign there in the back, those that are watching on video.
Yes, we love it as well. Yep.
We better love it. That sign was a process.
That's like my motto, take action. I was like, Tamara, take action now, go.
Didn't we find it on like Pinterest or Etsy or something? Somebody made it for us?
Yeah, we did, and it took 6 months to get here.
It's like, but it is beautiful. It's like that they did a good job.
They did. Yeah,
the first one didn't work, but it works now. So, they did a good job. So shout out to all you Etsy artists and Pinterest artists. People do use you. Excited to talk about content today, though, because you're a master at creating content, but micro content especially. And I'd love to start just asking you, you've created some viral videos. Josh mentioned in the intro, you did in 5 days, you created a video that drove like $170,000 in sales or so. Can you walk me through, like when you think about creating a viral video, a micro content video, kind of where you start there and how to do it in a way that actually will get people to engage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that particular story or case study that I shared with you, that one actually pertains to one of our clients. So we told him to create this specific video for TikTok. And he has some influence already on some other channels, but we said, well, he only had like 200 subscribers on TikTok. He's like, should I be over there? I'm like, well, of course. Yes, you need to be over there. And so we said, well, let's see what's taking off in your specific industry on your channels, on your podcasts and things like that. And let's see what's going on TikTok, because what we're seeing on specifically for that video that took off was that during that time period, that 60 days, around that time of that 5 days, it literally there were how-to videos at that point. So it's about really paying attention to what's going on in that day, that week, that month, what's trending, what's hyped up. And we had some, tricks and tips that we used that don't always work necessarily right now because it worked back then, And so at that point, what was going on was the how-to videos. And he specifically has a niche in the hospitality industry. And that particular video was about how to, get better rates on hotels, things like that, things that people are actually searching for. And so we did the market research and things. Of course, people are searching for that on YouTube and Google, but we actually did the search. So when you're on your cell phone, on your TikTok app, that little circle at the top, that's your search bar, right? You can actually start typing in phrases or words. And if you start saying like how to get best hotel, like you start just writing out the words, it will actually populate a whole list of keywords that people are actually searching for. And so it kind of prompts you to actually say like, well, I should probably create something around this because these are the topics people are actually creating in that specific industry. And so he did that. He did just that, basically. And the video took off. So we had one video that took off and it had like 1.3 million views. Then we said, hey, create one that's very similar, a how-to video. That one took off within the week. That one had like 586,000 views, things like that. And he was like, well, how do I make money off of here? Well, what happened for his experience, because he's an influencer, he ended up getting brand deals and speaking opportunities that literally had marketing directors from big hotel chains and other things like that come and approach him. So he put it out there and he put a message out, on the link, what's the call to action? Book me as a speaker, book me for your, literally his link just started going because not just were there fans watching, there were marketing directors and people that actually had the budgets for that particular client to take off. So he had ended up generating literally like 170,000 in like 5 days based on that strategy when he was like, hey,
in speaking fees or influencer fees.
Wow. That is incredible.
Well, he's pretty known. I'm not going to name drop right now, but when you have like, a larger following, but the thing is he didn't on TikTok yet.
And it still took off.
Yeah, that was my question. So he had a large following on the other platforms.
He didn't have it. So that video that took off, we just watched it. We were like, oh my gosh, like, over the days, we're like, boom, boom, boom. Now he has over 40,000 followers, but that 40,000 first hit in 60 days after that first viral hit. But he had like 20,000 plus followers the first 5 days.
What else are you looking at? Are there any tools you're using, or are you just literally living on the platform and recognizing what's happening? Because you said the trends change all the time. How are you spotting those trends and then making them tangible to actually, for your clients?
Of course. Great question. So yeah, we do use specific tools. We kind of start in the sense of looking at Google first. So I'm sure you guys know Keywords Everywhere, where it's a great tool to use specifically for Google. But you can also implement that when you put Keywords Everywhere on your computer, specifically in a Chrome extension, you can add that in there. And then when you actually pay to upgrade for credits on there, make sure you turn the Chrome extension off, though, because anything you search after that will just be charging your credits. So we informed our producers of that. We're like, everything else you're searching online, turn off that little thing when you're working because it just eats up the credits. But when you get a bunch of credits, you can see what people are actually searching for, but you also can see who's spending what ad spend on that topic. Okay. So then you kind of see well, people are actually spending money on this. And then you can kind of get a sense if you do run ads. We do everything organically with our clients and myself. I built multiple 7-figure business, all organically basis. And a lot of our clients have as well. We have a fitness coach now that does midlife conversations. She's got 270,000 followers on YouTube now. And her podcast gets 10,000 downloads an episode.
What was the time frame for a client like that to get there?
Yeah, so it really it takes some time to build that. So an example, it's all different based on your niche, though.
Sure, yeah.
So an example, we had a client, Melissa B. She took off. She literally had no following, but she had a very specific niche. And what was unique about that, I asked her a question. She said, do you think you could help me grow? And this was back in 2019, and she's still a client today. And I was like, well, tell me, what's your niche? She was like, well, I study ageism and Alzheimer's and dementia. So very specific, right? Yeah. Very specific content. So when she started with us, you can imagine she was like, well, I've got 5 subscribers and they're my mom and my son. And
hey, that sounds like our podcast when it started.
Yeah, right. And so I was like, you know what? Tell me, how many competitors do you feel like you have out there? She was like, that's doing what you want to do. And she said, one very evident lady in this space that's out there doing workshops, launched a book, that's doing these hand feeding classes, things that just weren't on YouTube, right? At the time. And she was right. And I was like, okay, so this gal that she was competing with, I was like, well, this is great in her scenario. It's not like that for everybody because there's very competitive fields. Right. But for her specifically, she did our consistency. She started taking off in some views here and there, kind of building slowly but surely. But by the fifth month, she had a viral that was 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. And it just went whoop. And we're like, awesome. We're like, create another one. So she did another one, 10 signs of this, a little bit different title, but very similar. That one took off. So that one, the first video has 2.8 million views. Jeez. She now has 25,000 subscribers on there. She gets thousands of downloads to the audio podcast. But the cool thing that we've allowed a teacher, she launched her book, she started doing workshops like her competitor, started asking for speaking gigs, everything that she wanted. And then now everything is covered. All of our services have been covered basically the last year and a half because we taught her how to build partnerships. She now gets grants from universities, sponsorships, and things like that. And she's also generated about $15,000 in YouTube partnership back to her business.
Wow.
From virality. It's not like the same case for everybody, but when you really have that specific niche and you see what your audience wants, if it's on YouTube or TikTok, create another video that's very similar to the one that took off, and then create playlists on both, because you can create playlists obviously on YouTube, but you can also create playlists on TikTok. And I think a lot of people still don't realize that.
I did not realize that. I didn't realize you could create playlists. Right.
Well, sorry,
we got to do that for
I have seen playlists. Yeah.
Yeah, but we got to do that. That's interesting because we had a similar experience with our TikTok. We got lucky. We did a video that was more of a motivational type video. It went viral, a couple million views, I believe, at this point. We gained a ton of followers from that. Like we had no followers and gained a ton. And the golden nugget that you're saying, we have found to be true. It's like when you replicate that same video just a little bit differently, it like one of the ones that we have good success with is I tend to have quotes that impact me, and I'll literally say here, I'll be like, hey, this quote really impacted me that I heard the other day, and then I'll say the quote, and then I'll give you my take on it. And when we put out videos like that, we get a ton of views a lot of times on these, especially on some quotes that really resonate with people. But when we have shifted gears and tried to do other content, it hasn't done nearly as well. But when we stick to that same kind of category and replicate, it doesn't mean you can't keep trying other pieces, but it is such a golden nugget to know, hey, once you get a good video that gets views, double down on that video and do it again and again. So you can create playlists on TikTok. I'm curious, like your thoughts, because I've struggled with this.
And you also want them to be all labeled the same too. So I think people miss out on that opportunity. So it's the same thing with like tagging in titles and SEO for YouTube that is on TikTok, right? So let's say, an example. So one of our clients, we knew on YouTube on the back end. So 5 of the top searches, it's buying a business, how to buy a business, right? And so when we took over his channels, we saw that was going taking off on his YouTube, right? So in 6 months, he had started with like 8,000 subscribers with us. In 6 months, we grew him to 26,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then in that first 6 months, and then on his TikTok channel, we noticed that when he was in a podcasting studio, kind of like you guys have set up there, that content did well. And then the content that did well in the podcasting studio that was how to buy a business, that took off, right? So one of his videos had like 43,000 views. We're like, well, that's one of the top performing. So we're going to double down and create more of that. And then more of that started taking off. But so you put the keyword in the title, like how to buy a business, and then you put it in the hashtag, and then you put it in the playlist, and then you create all those and put those in there, and it helps with that as smart. Well. And then of course you have to have it on the title on the front if you either edit it in or if you add it manually. So we tend to edit the titles in the very first second so that the first frame on TikTok, because it like moves, you know?
Yeah.
If you have it right on the frame, then you have the title. And, you know, same with YouTube, the titles on the thumbnails, the titles set out loud in the video, like it's always listening, it's always watching, it's always seeing things. And so you have like how to buy a business on the front of the TikTok video too, if it's manually uploaded or if it's just edited in the front of the video for the first second.
Super smart.
Just like, it's just very specific ways to just think about content. Like we go the data-driven direction, right? When we pay attention and then we're like, okay, double down on this. Like your audience is spoken. Whoa, you know, the angels are coming in. So,
I love it. How do you think about call to actions? Because I've always struggled with that, with our even content of going like, how do you do call to actions well? Because what happens to me is we'll do a piece of content, and then when I turn to do the call to action, it feels like, and maybe it's just a mental block in my brain, but it feels like it just discredits all the content that I just put out. So man, this
because
quote really
salesy or cheesy.
Yeah, because hey, this quote really impacted me. And then boom, I say, hey, if you want more quotes like that, be sure to follow. Right? It just feels like, oh wait, this wasn't authentic. This was all a setup to just get me to follow. Like, how do you think about call to actions for your clients?
Yeah, so everybody's a little bit different. So we have clients, I actually have a call with one of them here in about an hour and a half, and we're going to discuss like why his videos are taking off. He's another prime example. He wasn't on TikTok. He's been on TikTok. We got him on TikTok 9 months ago. He's got 22,000 subscribers now on TikTok. His TikTok videos just keep going viral. But he wants, one of our conversations today is actually on this topic about he wants to have his application to his program on the end of all of his TikToks. And I said, one of the things that does well though, and part of the reason that you're probably taking off in this industry, he's in the relationship dating industry. So a lot of people are searching for that stuff. And they do really well. Our relationship type industry coaches, they do really well on all platforms and podcasts. And he tends, so one of the reasons though we saw things taking off is because, you know, when we're on our phone and we're watching something, sometimes we don't even realize, like I'm on there, I'm watching like 5 times because it's looping, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I'm like, there's 5 more views. And then I'm like, wait, did I just see that? Like, I think I saw that, but I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna watch it the 6th time, you know? So I was like, it's getting more views. So if somebody's like really interested in something, you know, it's looping instead of like a video and then like call to action, then you know it's gone. And then you're not like me where I'm like, did I already watch that? Yeah. You know? And so it really like kind of depends. Like a lot of times, so we of course provide that experience for the clients because they feel that it is what the audience needs to see, which it can work, of course. But I also believe that having the call to action in the copy of the post is also, you know, good too, because if you don't want to be too salesy, we have a client that also runs a very successful Shopify business with supplements. Okay. And so she never wants to be super salesy on there. So we don't put call to actions at the end of any of the micro content. Everything's always in the bottom. And we try to do more like a mixture of stuff. So it's like, you know, because she also has a cookbook and a diet program, all these things, right? So it's like, hey, who wants the recipe? Like comment recipe below. And those posts, those TikTok videos, they get the most traction. All of a sudden she's got like 43,000 views and like tons of comments. Recipe.
I've seen that on Instagram too. If you want this, comment, you know, whatever recipe in the comments or whatever.
Hosting an event or something and you have some special deal and you've got a bot connected to your Instagram, right? Or wherever the bot is. You know, primarily Instagram, our clients do the bots, but it's like comment the word event if you want more information. And then it's like, boom, and it goes right to their inbox. But they do the same thing for podcasts. So the gal that I was talking about, our client that has like the midlife conversations that has a very large following, she's generated her business all organically without ads. She started 7 figures and up on that brand. And it's all because of automation on that. And she does the same thing for her podcast. She's like, who wants the link to the podcast? Super smart. Who wants the link? Like they comment podcast, boom, it goes right in there. You're automatically getting downloads to
that's super. Yeah, super smart. Awesome. Do you have a call to action on every post just before we leave call to actions? Do you like, even if it's not in the actual video, you make them put it in or you recommend they put it in the caption?
I do. And people like, of course, there's at times you want them to say like, click the link in the bio, which is a boring call to action. But your
standard is you need to have one on every post because we don't do that. And I want
to say something too. You want them to actually comment, you know? So it's like, because the link in the bio one, like they might go click the link in the bio, but they might not comment. So what we'll say is like, you know, comment something. And then what's hard though with, that's why having a bot's good because you can actually push out a link that's clickable because of course, Instagram specifically and TikTok, you can't add links that are clickable in the comments, which really hurts business owners on that side. So if people are looking to build something and want people to go to a link, it's always the option to go to link in the bio.
Yeah.
But you want them to like, interact with you.
Yeah, and stay on the platform for sure. Do you use ManyChat? Is that what you use for your bot, or do you use a different one?
Yeah. So we've used ManyChat. Our clients use ManyChat. There's been instances we've seen, not ours, but our clients, two of our clients have seen instances where like hackers or people have been able to get in there, and it can be messy, but I don't know all of that stuff on there. It hasn't happened to us, but I have seen it. So just be careful when setting that stuff up. But it is one of the best automated systems for Facebook and Instagram.
Well, just to explain to the clients or the listeners, and you can elaborate. So the ManyChat bot will basically what you're saying is you could have someone. So take a real estate agent, for example. You could say like comment CMA to get a free market analysis of your home. And then what the bot will do is it'll chat that person a link where they can then click and then fill out the form to get more information. And then you basically generated a lead for yourself. Is that pretty much accurate?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So like you could have something where it's like a very direct call to action, like buy a ticket to the event, or download and listen to the podcast, or download my free guide. And like you said, they're coming into your email now, your CRM, they're downloading that free guide. And you're getting them on your email list, building more rapport with them.
And the cool part about that is you're actually extending the time on the platform. Instagram sees that. Instagram likes you more. They continue to show your stuff to more people. Talk about repurposing content, because obviously we have a podcast. We create, we repurpose the content from our podcast. How do you go about finding kind of the best micro content out of a longer form piece?
Of course. So our clients, our copywriters are really good at this, but we also use AI. We use ChatGPT on specific formats. If a podcast isn't super long, we can add the transcript in there. If it's longer episode, longer than 30 minutes to an hour, then we actually provide it to our copywriters because they're the best at listening through and pulling that. But for any like shorter videos, like you literally prompt ChatGPT, you copy and paste the transcript, and then basically from there you say, I always type please because I'm trying to be polite to chat.
So do I. I'm always so polite to this chat bot. I'm always like, thank you. That was great. Now can you do this?
I know. I do. I do the same thing.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, please select so the more specific you are, and you guys probably don't know this, but other people that might be listening might not. So the more specific you are in like ChatGPT or Jasper or any other AI platform that you're using, ChatGPT specifically, you say like, please select so this is how I would write it, like literally like be so specific. You're like, please select, so you copy the transcript after you type the prompt. So the prompt says, please select the best timestamps under 60 seconds each, select the best title for each of these, and I say like TikTok snippets for this transcript. Boom. And then it will pull the timestamps. It selects the title. Oh, and I forgot to say, and I say SEO based title.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's very, but we have seen things where we're like, okay, yes, a human can come in and pull more emotional things too, or they might pull something like that's very close back to back. And I'm like, well, that could be one segment. So it's good to pay attention, and it's always good to have a human oversee it. It's just used for efficiency.
Yeah, what an incredible hack.
Now, do you use a chat or a transcription service, or are you like letting YouTube create it? Okay, use this. What transcription service do you use?
We use Trint because we have more of a corporate plan, because we transcribe thousands of podcasts a week.
I bet.
And so like it's insane. So we trained all of our producers, we trained all of our copywriters, all of our project managers, we trained everybody on our team to use ChatGPT to be more efficient with things. I had a conversation with one of our producers. I kind of went in and I do some audits here and there to just kind of see how everyone's doing. And we had hired a new copywriter. So I was like, I'm going to teach him it, because I was like, I see his strengths, but I see also some weaknesses. I was like, I see how he can help tighten things up and get a little bit more specific. And so I trained him with ChatGPT, and he actually got better with what we were looking for that specific client. Awesome. And I was like, I see a lot of things that could improve on this episode. And then I was like, do this to this episode and show me what you got. And I was like, I didn't like the original episode. The next one, I'm like, love all of it. Like this is
So
this
good.
is cool. And
It's amazing how fast, even with ChatGPT, I know we've done some episodes on it too, but it's like how fast people are implementing it in their business. Like
our social media coordinator has been doing it with all of our content.
Yeah, we're using it. I'm using it for content. Yep. You're using it's amazing. It's so smart. It's such a good hack. All right, so we wanted to ask you, like, when you look at the platforms of today, right, and you look at where the future's going in 2023, 2024, obviously I can tell you're recommending TikTok to a lot of people and your mind's there, but are there any other platforms? Where do you see it heading? Where do you see social media heading? And any advice you would give for where people should be focusing their time and attention?
of course, yeah. So the majority of our clients are on TikTok right now. We were this last month with all the TikTok of potential banning and stuff like that. We started just getting things set up for something else. So we started doing research on some other platforms, and I found this one that I actually like. That's basically like very much similar to TikTok, and I was like, can TikTok like sue them for being so similar? But it's called Clapper. Like it's not like a cool name or anything, but I was like, I don't know why they called it Clapper. But on the side it is very similar to the way.
Can't the Clapper sue? Remember the old Clapper? Can't they sue?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just keeping things on a positive note. So you go into this Clapper app. It's orange and white if you're looking for it on your app to download. And I signed up for it, and I got my first 100 followers the first day I signed up. So I just started repurposing content. But what they're saying about that particular platform is they're trying to make it so that repurposing content isn't like necessarily the norm on there. They want it to be authentic, real, in the moment, people just kind of chatting or, putting some stuff up there, people showing, different things. So I've seen different people go viral based on what they're showing, if it's their garden or, their cars or, whatever that looks like, very specific and authentic. I had some videos take off there, and so I'm just getting to know it too. But we had some of our clients actually sign up, and they're starting to take off over there. They're starting to get like 800, 900 views plus.
How many users does Clapper have? Do you know?
What was that?
How many users does Clapper have? Do you know?
I am not sure. I will have to do the research there. I think it's fairly new, but I'm seeing there's
movement towards it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they have these unique things on there. So you have your membership, you can buy coins and tip your.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'll have to check that out. YouTube Shorts.
400,000 daily active users.
Wow. Yeah. So it's really starting to take off.
2 million monthly active users. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. My goodness. Yeah. I'll have to check that out for sure. That's a lot. Yeah. For active users.
Always stay ahead of the curve. And that's what we're doing. When we see something, going, I'm always somebody that's going to come in and try something and see it and learn it. Offline, we're talking about Web3 and NFTs and stuff like that. I was one of those people that jumped in in the beginning as well. And a lot of my friends, one of my best friends just had a gallery in New York City last night to their community, and they just got a $5 million seed fund to help continue their program for Hug, which is called Hug. And so it's cool to see people think, oh well, NFTs and Web3 and stuff. Think same thing with apps. So Microcontent, where can you go to distribute content? Are you on other types of platforms for communities too, like Discord or Telegram or other things? Are people building communities where people that are in the community share out your content too? So we've had clients go viral because the community is sharing out the YouTube video, the TikTok video on that side. So if you build communities like Facebook communities, Discord, things like that, then why not have your fans or your followers or your community share out your content too, and they start talking about it. And we've had people go viral on YouTube because they shared out the YouTube video in the Discord community to 35,000 people. Just different ways to think about it.
Yeah, it's super smart.
That's awesome.
So you've been a really successful entrepreneur. Would love to hear, is there any mantra that you have kind of lived by that means a lot to you as you think about entrepreneurship and the things that you've overcome and achieved?
I don't want you guys to laugh at me if I say like my morning mantra. Well, I try to stay humble about it too, but I wake up, I do a meditation. I don't know if you guys use like the Calm app or meditate or anything like that, but I do 2 morning meditations. I think her name's Tamara. So I was like Tamara and Tamara. I listen to Tamara, but I'm Tamara. And so I listen to the Calm app, and then I like say different things, and and I just think I'm cheesy, but I always use the mantra, money flows to me frequently in abundance from expected and unexpected ways. And I say that mantra over and over every day. I say it basically after the Calm app, and I say it in the shower. And you guys might think I'm cheesy, but when you think more abundantly, and you put that positive vibe and meditate in the mornings when you first get up and kind of just set your ways, because people kind of get up, they have their routines, they eat, they go to work, they do whatever. But if you take some time for yourself first and set your intentions for the day, it's like, it's one of those things that, and I always tell people too, like your sign on your wall back there, take action. Like, I'm a very resilient person, and I won't get into my deep story. I am writing a book though this year, so stay tuned on that. So yeah, I wrote about 8,000 words while I was sick with COVID. I was like, I'm gonna start writing my book. So I have some.
Well, we'll have to have you back on for the book tour.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, when the book comes out, we'll have to have you share your story.
Tamara, amazing stuff. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you. I know you've got a summit coming up here in June.
Yes. So we're going to have that up, and the landing page is up fairly soon. So it's called the Video Short Summit. So I will get you guys the link when it's up. We're going to have some great influencers, people that shine at creating micro content on there. My buddy Sean Cannell will be on there with us, and some other great people that built TikTok success, YouTube short success, Instagram reel success.
Nice.
And things like that. So we'll talk about that, and I'm going to do some trainings with on AI during that as well, how to create better and more efficient micro content with AI. And I'm doing that with a co-host with one of our clients. So they asked me to be a part of the experience, and I said, yes, I'd love to help. So we're doing that. So yeah, it's a Video Short Summit. It's going to be live in the first week of June, but I'll give you guys the information as soon as I have all the fun links and stuff.
And what's your social media? Where can people follow you?
Well, the only place that I really hang out, YouTube, it's Broadcast Your Authority on YouTube, or Instagram. My team runs all my other pages. So if you're over there trying to write me and say hi on like Facebook or LinkedIn, it's probably not me. But if you want to get a hold of me, I do operate with my team, my Instagram. I love Instagram and TikTok too. So it's Tamara Thompson Official. So I was like, awesome. Tamara Thompson was taken, so I had to be Tamara Thompson Official. So officially Tamara Thompson.
Thanks again so much for joining us, and thank you all so much for listening. You can get those links that Tamara mentioned. We'll also include the link to the summit in the show notes of this episode. You can get those at staypaidpodcast.com. If you enjoyed this episode and want to show your support, we ask you to head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review and a comment, and the best way to support the show is to simply share this episode with a friend. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com, and of course you can find us on social media. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Awesome interview, so many golden nuggets that you can apply. Here is your action item for this episode, and I think you guys can take action on this right away. Go to Google and type in the how-tos for your type of industry, right? Especially if you think real estate, you can think about like how to buy your first home, see what comes up, and the how-tos. Those are the keywords that people are searching. So that pre-filled list that Google gives you, that's the keywords that people are searching. Make content on those keywords, right? That is your content ideas for you this week that you can do Instagram stories on. You could do a TikTok on. You could do an Instagram post on. Utilize that tip that you learned here on the show. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every single industry is top producers take action. Take action on that today.